Hi, this is Solo P1 and welcome to episode 20 of the Flaming Tarmac. This is race week. We've got the Russian Grand Prix in a couple of days. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning, UK time. The reason why I'm doing the video this late is because I've got a lot of things to do this week. I'm a busy man this week, setting up stuff for this week's stream, for some recordings for this weekend coming up. I want to get everything right, you know. I try to be more prepared. I try to be prepared when I do my videos. I like to have everything ready, and also I've got some errands to run as well, so I've got to sort out that shit. But this is the Flaming Tarmac episode 20. This is the 20th episode of the Flaming Tarmac. I used to do these episodes once a month, every 2 months. But now, because my channel's growing now. And thanks for all the support that I've got after my followers, my subscribers on YouTube, and my followers on Twitch. Thank you very much. I really, 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 really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm going to start doing more of these because of my channel's growing. I want to get more episodes in. I want to at least do 1 episode every week minimum, but I'm going to do 1 episode every week of the Flaming Tarmac. Now, I'm going to start off with Yuki Tsunoda. David Coulthard has been coming down on Yuki Tsunoda, and understandable. This kid is in a privileged position. I don't know how old he is. I don't think he's 17 or 18. All I know that this time last year he was in school. He was driving an F2 and he was still doing his exams at school. So at that age, that's the first indication of he's lucky and he's probably privileged as well. The majority of the grid are privileged. That's why they're here. This is the elite of the elite. And it doesn't matter what team you're in, you should be appreciated. You should appreciate your team and thank God that you're in Formula 1. Someone like Russell, he came into Formula 1. He was lucky to get into Formula 1, just like Lewis was lucky to get into Formula 1. And whatever team you go to, you appreciate that team because you know there's thousands and thousands of drivers, probably better than you, that can't get in, maybe because of funds or because their parents ain't got enough money.
For real? Damn, it must be true.
So if you get into Formula 1, you want to hang on to your seats and you want to appreciate your seats. But David Coulthard isn't really seeing it that way, and I'm agreeing with Coulthard. He says on here now that Coulthard reacted with astonishment. He basically said, quote unquote, "What planet is he from?" That's Yuki Tsunoda. "I think he should pack his little bag and go home. This is not a voice for a racing driver. This is not a voice of a racing driver." And I tend to agree. Like I've just gone over just now, this guy is in a privileged position. He's in a privileged position, right? And most people would bite his hand off to be in this position. And Coulthard also goes on and says, look, if I were him, I would buy a plane ticket now, the early bird, so we can save a bit of money, get a discount. After next year, he has no place in Formula 1. So basically, Coulthard not pulling any punches at all. If you know Formula 1 and you know Coulthard, he's a straight shooter. A straight shooter like Martin Brundle. 2 guys have got in common. They don't care if you like their opinion. They don't care if it's popular. They don't care if it's not popular. If they've got an opinion, they will stick to it. They will stick to it, and they don't care if you like them or not. They will say their opinion, and then they'll put it out there, and if you like it, good. If you don't, good as well. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to them. They're still going to say their opinion. And the thing about it, there's a lot of journalists out there. They will change their mind just like that. They'll say something on TV, and then a couple of days later, when Sky Sports have got to them, or the F1, the FIA got to them, whoever got to them, and a couple of days later, you'll see they'll have a similar opinion, but they'll kind of change it. But Coulthard will stick to it. Whatever he says, he will stick to it. Just like Martin Brundle. And this is why I like them both. Straight shooters. Now, look. We're going to talk about Haas now. It's just a little thing. I'm going to bring this up on Haas. Basically, Haas. Look, I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, I'm going to go back to that. I don't care what anybody says. The two people that are running that team. I know people are going to think, you know what? You're talking shit. They're not running the team. Fingy's running the team. Gutter Steiner. Nah, he's not running the team. He ain't running the team. The person who's running the team is Mazepin's dad. He's the one who's running the team. And the assistant person who's running the team is Mazepin himself. Because Mazepin can smash every race, smash the car up, cost them money, and he's still going to keep his seat. He can run into Lewis Hamilton, cost him points, still going to keep his seat. He could knock out Mick Schumacher clean on the track, out cold, just like that. He'll get suspended, but he'll still keep his seat. You get my point. He's never gonna leave that team. Never. Not while his dad is basically gonna buy the team, because that's what's gonna happen. He can say what he wants. He's coming out and saying, "Oh, look, the simulator's shit." The simulator shit is still good for Formula One, and you'll see at the end of the season the way we are. Even though at the back, you're going to see how worse they are. He said all the teams have got high-tech equipment. They've got this and that. What have we got? We ain't got shit. That's basically what he's saying. He's not saying in them words, but that's the way he's coming across. And Gutter Steiner can't do shit. Because soon as Gutter Steiner opens his mouth, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Mazepin dad's going to come and say, listen, you know what? He's probably already done it. Because Gutter Steiner is one of them persons who'll come out and say, look, I'm going to get the two drivers. Look when they fell out. They've been falling out for the past 4 weeks. Mazepin and Mick Schumacher. Use that as an example. And what's Gutter Steiner done? Nothing. Look at Gutter Steiner when Roman Grosjean was there. You had Roman Grosjean and you had Kevin Magnussen. Two teammates. When they was going through their little scuffle, you've seen Gutter Steiner come out in front of the camera and he say his piece and say, look, I'm going to sort them drivers out. Not so much with these two. Because you know why? Mazepin dad is running it. And if you don't own it, he's going to own it. Gene Haas ain't going to help. He doesn't want that team anymore. Gene Haas is going to come out and say, you know what? You can buy my company. He's not getting nothing from it. They're at the back anyway. So why not get someone else? Give him a good price like Mazepin's dad. Because you know Mazepin's dad can buy it. He's probably the richest guy in F1. You thought Lance Stroll's dad was rich. Mazepin's dad's even richer. A lot richer. So he'll come across and he'll buy the company, have a piece of the company, then they'll slowly start running it and they'll bring there's nothing Gutter Steiner can do. Gutter Steiner now is like a yes man. He's not the same Gutter Steiner that was there 2 years ago. He's not. So that was that story talking about the lack of a simulator facility at Haas will make the end of the season flyaway races more difficult. So that's what I'm saying. That's my opinion. You can put your whatever you want to say on it. That's my opinion. This is what I think. I think that Gutter Steiner hasn't got a hold on that team anymore. I think Mazepin's dad and Mazepin is running that team. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see Mick Schumacher go to Alfa Romeo and they'll do a swap. Maybe he'll go to Alfa Romeo and Fingy will go to Haas maybe, and Nick De Vries maybe. It depends. But all I know that Mazepin dad is running that team, and that's it. If you don't believe that, you're a geek. On to another story. This is interesting. This is very interesting. This story stood out for me. This is probably the story of the week for me. It basically said, Wolf says Mercedes need to condition and collaborate. Russell to avoid a repeat of Rosberg and Hamilton's rift. They're the words he's using, collaborate. What do you think that is? What do you think that is? See, this is what I'm trying to say. Look, I said this months ago, probably 6 months ago. I said, when Russell goes to Mercedes, when he does go to Mercedes, and if Lewis Hamilton's there, Russell is not going to come in and start smashing it. He's going to be good. He's going to be a fast driver. He's going to be with Lewis, or look, on the occasion of times he might even beat Lewis. I'm not saying that because I'm not going to go into the history of George Russell. I'm a big George Russell fan. I've been with him from before Formula 3. All right, I've said that in all my videos, or most of my videos this year. I've said it, and I said it last season as well. I said it when he was in Formula 3, when I was streaming back then, when I was recording back then, right? But what I'm saying is, there's no way he's gonna walk into that team, right, and start dominating. They won't allow it. He's just like Perez. Perez went to Red Bull, okay? The contract in his contract, he's gotta be the second driver. That's what his contract said. This is what he signed with Red Bull. You are going to be the second driver. You want it, or you can go. That's simple. If you don't want to be a second driver, go. Perez goes, you know what? I've got no other seat available. Red Bull knew this, by the way. This is why Red Bull looks at. They was never going to keep Albon. They was never going to keep that geek Albon. It was never going to happen. Okay? They said very clear, you'll be the second driver. You sign it or go. This is why they delayed it. They delayed it to the end. So basically, Perez got a little bit desperate. He didn't get desperate, you know. He wanted to be in Formula 1. And Christian Horner, being an intelligent guy, he's a prick, but he's an intelligent guy, right? He knew this. He played off it. He waited till when the season finished. Then he made a decision. He said, look, here's a contract, sign it, but you're going to be the second driver. Perez signed it, boom, boom, boom. 1 year contract, nice. A chance of an extension. So they kept Albon there in the background doing the simulator work, always hovering, always there. And then now he wants another contract. But Perez come out and says, look, I don't want that contract. I ain't going to be a second driver on this contract. I want equal cars, and I want equal treatment like Max Verstappen. I'm not sure if the contract had been signed yet, but that was about 2 weeks ago. I haven't heard anything. As soon as I hear anything, I'll put it on my Twitter feed. But that is what I'm talking about. It's the same with George Russell. George Russell, I wouldn't be surprised in his contract, at least for the first 2 years. I know he signed a big contract, but I wouldn't be surprised in the first 2 years they're saying in the contract, look, learn off Lewis, watch Lewis. He's the master, you're the apprentice. I made a video about this in the Flaming Tarmac episode 19. It's on the archives, go and watch it. But I said this, he's not going to go there and he's not going to smash it. They do not want a Rosberg and Hamilton feud ever again, especially going into the new era, the new regulations, the new cars. They want it settled. They knew they had to sign Russell. If they wouldn't have signed Russell, there was a chance that Red Bull was going to sign him, because Red Bull was slowing down the contract with Perez. And they done that deliberate, by the way, because they knew Russell would never sign with Mercedes yet. So basically, they done that. So if they didn't sign Russell, Red Bull, there was a chance that Red Bull would have came in and took Russell. So basically, they signed Russell, but in these contracts are guaranteed. I'm not saying it's fact. This is me, my opinion. I'm not going to go out and say, look, this is the truth, like some stupid geek to get likes. No. I'm giving you my opinion. My opinion is that contract says you stay behind Hamilton, learn from Hamilton, and after when Hamilton leaves, then you can go and take your thing. I wouldn't be surprised if the contract said that. Then you can go for it, because he's going to come and look. He's been in Formula 1 a couple of years, but his teammate with arguably one of the greatest of all time. Statistically, he is the greatest of all time, Lewis Hamilton, by stats. And he's coming to that team. He's idle. He's idle. That's all I'm saying. Toto Wolff does not want that again, like with Hamilton and Rosberg. It's never going to happen. This is why the words, listen to the words, it says, Wolff says Mercedes needs to condition and collaborate Russell to avoid a repeat of Rosberg and Hamilton. Condition and collaborate. Now, why don't people journalists, F1 reviewers, grow some fucking balls. Okay? State your opinion properly. This is about the Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton rivalry, comparing their rivalry between Senna and Frost. Okay. Stop comparing Lewis and Max Verstappen's rivalry with Senna and Frost. For starters, the Senna and Frost rivalry went on longer. There's one. And two, the Senna and Frost rivalry, they were teammates. This is what these stupid F1 reviewers are not saying. It's a fact. You can't argue with fact. Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen are not teammates. So you can't compare them to Senna and Frost. Senna and Frost were teammates, and their rivalry went on longer. Look, it all started in Monaco. Frost was in a McLaren, and Senna was in a Tarmac. 1984, Senna came to Monaco, first Monaco in the rain. And for me, Senna won that race. Go on YouTube, go on whatever pirate station you go on to, wherever you find your videos, and you'll see that footage. Or if you've got the F1 TV, go watch it on there. You see Senna passes that line before Frost, and then as soon as Senna passes the line, the flag goes up like to say, yeah, they've called the race off, but Frost gets the win. Frost pulls over before the finish line. Before he did, I don't think he even finished the finish line. Senna finished it before him. Then they brought the flag out like to say, we've pulled the race off. But Senna, this was 1984, Senna didn't win the race. They gave it to Frost. And you go and watch that podium. It's on YouTube. Go and watch that podium and look at Senna's face, the way he's looking at Frost. How unhappy he is. That's where that rivalry started. So it started from 1984 all the way up to 1990. That's where it started, and that's where it ended in the 90s, in early 90s. So you're look, Max Verstappen, Red Bull finally now have got a good car. They've got a good car now. They had a decent car last year, but not to compete against Mercedes. To have a rivalry, you have to have wheel-to-wheel battles for at least 5 or 6 races in the season. Last year, there weren't hardly any wheel-to-wheel battles with Max Verstappen and Hamilton. The year before and the year before. So how can you compare Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton against Senna and Frost? There you go. That's what they're trying to do. You cannot compare Frost and Senna to Lewis and Max. As you can see there, same team. Are they on the same team? No. All I can see is Lewis Hamilton in a Mercedes and Max Verstappen in a Red Bull. And this is the first season that the Red Bull is sometimes faster than Mercedes. This is the first time it's happened, and this is why you're getting this wheel-to-wheel battle with Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. Only one season this has happened. Them two went on for at least 6 years. Plus they was on the same team. So how can you compare it? This is what's pissing me off. You're getting these geeks online and F1 commentators saying, oh yeah, this is like the new Senna and Frost, getting carried away because they're watching one race, they go wheel to wheel and saying, oh, they're getting happy in the moment and saying, look, this is the new Senna and Frost. No. No, 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 fuck no. It's not Senna and Frost yet. And I don't think it ever will be. Because with Senna and Frost, I think Senna generally hated him. He hated his fucking guts. I don't think Lewis Hamilton hates Max Verstappen's guts. He probably thinks he's a prick, but I don't think he hates his guts. Senna hated Frost. Yeah, but when he got to McLaren, that first season, he hated him. And there's no way you can compare them two to Senna and Frost. You just can't. It's fucking pathetic. And I can't believe you got journalists, credible journalists on F1 coming out and saying it. It's fucking bullshit. You cannot compare them two. How? I've just explained to you how why you can't. I've just explained to you why you can't compare them. This is the only season since the hybrid era started, since Max Verstappen's been in Formula 1. This is the only season where the Red Bull car is more or less equal to the Mercedes and sometimes faster. So how can you compare these two at the bottom, Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton's rivalry, to Senna and Prost? You can't. You just can't do it. Now, you can you got more comparison with Rosberg and Lewis. Rosberg and Lewis became teammates in 2013. Their rivalry spanned 3 years. He went on not well. We got 2013 season, 2014 season, 2015 season, and 2016 season. So it's 4 seasons, but 3 years, because they joined in 2013. So their rivalry spanned 4 seasons. Their rivalry was brutal, especially at 15 and 16. There you go. You can compare them to Senna and Prost, because they're going wheel to wheel, and they're on the same team. See, you can see the comparison with Rosberg and Hamilton, because that's similar to Senna and Prost, but you could not compare Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton rivalry to Senna and Prost. They're not in the same team, and this is the only season where Red Bull's been competitive to beat Mercedes. So there you go, point proved. I hate when they're just coming out and they're saying, you know what, Senna and Prost, this is like Senna and Prost. You fucking geek. It's nothing like Senna and Prost. Horner, unconcerned over Max Verstappen's group penalty, but predicts such will be a challenge for Red Bull. That's basically what Christian Horner's saying. He's basically saying, look, I ain't worried. He knows Sochi is going to be a Mercedes track. Since the Russia Grand Prix started in 2014, there's been a Mercedes 1 and 2 since it started. 1 and 2. Since it started in 2014. So where we all know this is a Mercedes track. He knows this is a Mercedes track. And having the free praise group penalty, he said he's not worried. He said it'd be tough, but he's not worried. He was probably, he's probably thinking to himself, look, he's got a free place group penalty. If Max does his job or whatever, if he doesn't crash into anyone, he probably will crash into someone, because he's a fucking inept geek. Yeah, inept. If you don't like it, fuck off. Inept. And he's probably thinking, look, if he gets a good start, he'll probably get up in 4th place at the beginning for the first corner. And then he can make it up from there. Probably switch strategy, probably put him on the hard tyres first and see if he can go a bit longer and try and finish probably 3rd if he can. So I don't think he really cares about that. For me, he should have got a 10 place group penalty for what he'd done to Lewis Hamilton.
Damn right.
If that halo wasn't there, Lewis Hamilton could have broke his neck. Easy. Easy if that halo wasn't there. He's had a sprained neck all week. He's been having he went out to some party in New York, Lewis Hamilton, and he brought a table there, and so he got 3 or 4 artists, independent artists, to show their stuff, black artists, which I'm glad that Hamilton's pushing this agenda over. We need more diversity around the world. We need more, we need more diversity in sports, and we need more diversity in music. We need more diversity everywhere. At the end of the day, diversity is good. And Lewis Hamilton, he's put his money where his mouth is. And that's it, man. Lewis Hamilton's just doing his stuff. But at the end look, let's get back onto this Max. If Max comes into Sochi this week and he crashes, I ain't going to be surprised. Because that's what he is. He's not I don't give a shit what anybody says. He's not a talented driver. He's just a first class, grade A dive bomber. Very simple. Dive bomber. Like Damon Hill says, look, anybody can come on the track, yeah, and brake test someone or hit somebody. That's the easy part. The art of being an F1 driver is to not get hit or you hit the opponent. That is the art of being a Formula 1 driver. And I don't think Max Verstappen can grasp that concept of being an F1 driver, because he's a inept geek. Straight line brain, straight like a ruler. Straight line brain, he just thinks one way. I'm going to get into a situation. I am not going to pull out because I don't care. Because that's how that's how his mind thinks. And if someone's gonna come, oh, Max Verstappen's great. No, he's not great. He's not great. He's a dive bomber. He's just like this stupid podcast that they got out. I'm like some F1 podcast. I knew when I listened to that. He's got Damon Hill, Natalie Pickman, a couple of us. I knew when I listened to that podcast, it's so political. You got Damon Hill challenging this other guy over what happened. Damon Hill believes that it should have been a penalty and he deserved the penalty and it was Max's fault. And then you got Natalie Pickman there being the judge. She's there being the judge. Not really saying what she really thinks. Listen, don't do a fucking podcast if you're not going to say what you think. Get off the podcast, bring in Martin Brundle and bring in David Coulthard. I know David Coulthard's on another podcast called On the Marbles, but come on this one as well. I'm sick of hearing the political answer. If you're not going to tell the truth, fuck off. I knew it. Listen, I don't really listen to this podcast. What's the podcast called? The podcast called is F1 Nation, right? And he's got Damon Hill, Natalie Pickman, and Tom Clarkson. The geese when you got the press conference, Tom Clarkson is a guy that repeats himself week in and week out. Week in and week out. He says the same thing. His drivers come, oh, how was your day? How was your weekend? Are you excited for the race? Are you excited? How do you think of the last race? How do you think of Sochi? How do you think of Imola? How do you think of your fucking dirty pants? Every fucking week he says the same thing over week in and week out. Another straight line brain, another geek. Damon Hill was arguing with him on F1 Nation and saying, look, at the end of the day, yeah, he deserved the penalty. And he was saying it was a racing incident. And here's Damon Hill, it wasn't a racing incident. And then Tom Clarkson said, yeah, but there was a gap there. And Damon Hill goes, no, there weren't no gap there. There was not no gap there. No gap. He goes, I'm an F1 driver. I know what's wagwan. I know what's going on. There was no gap. And then Natalie Pickman sitting on the fence going, oh yeah, but at the end of the day, there was if he went wide, there was a couple of rumble strips there. And there's Damon Hill, listen, don't talk about the rumble strips, okay? There's a runoff area there, he could have went down there. And there's being on Max or Luxury always is. Always has to play the devil's advocate. Always the same with Natalie Pickman. She always has to go the other way. Even when she knows it was Max's fault. She's a broadcast journalist on F1. You can't get more political than her. You can see by her answers, you just the political answers every time. Then she turns around, what was the most laughable comment ever that I heard on F1 Nation. She turns around and goes, oh, that's what makes Max brilliant. That he goes for everything and he doesn't care if there's a crash now and again. That's when I just lost all credibility for that podcast. When I heard her say that, I said that's what makes Max great. That's what makes Max a fucking dumb geek. Straight line brain, untalented driver. I don't care what anybody says. Come on my comment section. I don't give a shit. Max Verstappen, he's got a straight line brain. He's not talented. He just goes for everything and he doesn't think. He's not a clever driver. He doesn't think. He just goes straight ahead. And that doesn't make you a genius. Natalie Pickman. Unbelievable when I heard that. And I thought, yep, House of Commons. Yep, House of Commons. It's just like politics. Politics channel, man. F1 Nation politics. The only real one on there is Damon Hill. Tom Clarkson just repeats himself week in and week out. He's at the press conference and he does the same on F1 Nation. And he's on another F1 freaking podcast as I'll be on the grid. Why is this geek on all the F1 podcast channels? He's got no... Who is he? Go away. We don't want you here. Take off Tom Clarkson and bring in Martin Brundle or bring in David Coulthard. Get this geek. He's on too many podcasts and he sounds the same. If you want to listen to, go and listen to F1 Nation and go and listen to F1 Beyond the Grid. You feel like it's the same show. Sounds like the same show because that geek's on there. Well, that's the end of
You're like the 21st person I've ever met who's making me break a sweat.
Hopefully we get a good race this week. Hopefully there's no rain. I'm sick of the rain, man. No more rain, man. Hope we get a nice clean race this week. And I hope Lewis Hamilton's okay. I hope all the other drivers are okay. I hope everybody has a nice clean race. And I'll see you guys soon. Yeah, so follow me on YouTube. There's my YouTube channel there. I'm on Twitch as well. Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. There's me with Ted Kravitz. That was at Silverstone. I think that's 2018. And follow me on Twitch as well. I stream Monday to Friday. So follow me on them platforms. So this is it. This is the end of the Flaming Tarmac episode 20.
21.
I'll be back next week for another Flaming Tarmac. And yeah, that's me gone. Look out for my reviews. I'll be doing the qualifying review of Russia, race day review of Russia, and also I'll be uploading the press conferences. So this is Solo P1 Sunday. Thank you very much, guys. Bye.